Have you ever felt that sting? The sharp barb of a rude comment, the dismissive wave of a hand, the feeling of being belittled? We've all been there. We've all replayed those moments in our minds, kicking ourselves for not having the perfect comeback, for letting someone else's negativity pierce our peace. But what if there was a way to disarm rudeness, not with anger or escalation, but with unwavering calm and clarity? What if you could control your reactions, protect your inner peace, and leave even the rudest individual speechless? This is where Stoicism comes in. It's not about being passive or a doormat. It's about cultivating an inner strength that allows you to respond rather than react. It's about recognizing what you can control, your own thoughts and actions, and letting go of what you can't. In this video, I'm going to equip you with 8 powerful Stoic-inspired comebacks that will transform the way you handle rude people. We'll explore the philosophy behind each phrase, examine real-life scenarios, and learn how to deliver them with confidence and poise. Get ready to reclaim your peace, set unshakable boundaries, and discover how to leave rudeness in its tracks. Let's dive in. I'm not the one. Try someone who tolerates nonsense. This comeback is your personal declaration of independence from negativity, a potent assertion of your right to be treated with respect. It's a firm yet respectful way of saying, I choose not to engage with your disrespectful behavior. I'm not a receptacle for your negativity. Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius emphasize the importance of choosing your company wisely and avoiding those who drain your energy or compromise your values. This phrase embodies that principle perfectly. Think of it as drawing a line in the sand, protecting your personal space from encroaching negativity and ensuring that you control the narrative of your interactions. It is a powerful assertion of self-respect. Going beyond the initial explanation, consider why this comeback is so effective on a deeper level. It's not just the words, but the underlying message it conveys with unwavering clarity. I value myself, and I'm not willing to lower my standards to accommodate your poor behavior. I'm aware of my worth, and I refuse to compromise it for the sake of your comfort. It establishes a boundary that protects your mental and emotional well-being, shielding you from the corrosive effects of negativity and preventing others from taking advantage of your kindness or empathy. It communicates self-respect and asserts your right to be treated with dignity, sending a clear message that you demand to be addressed with courtesy and consideration. Let's delve into practical applications, exploring more nuanced scenarios. Imagine you're at a family gathering, and a relative starts making offensive jokes targeting a particular group of people, perhaps using stereotypes or prejudiced language. Instead of getting drawn into an argument, which often escalates at family events and creates further discord, you can calmly say, I'm not the one. Try someone who tolerates nonsense. This sends a message not only to the speaker, but also to others present, modeling respectful behavior and potentially influencing the dynamics of the gathering, creating a safer and more inclusive environment. Or perhaps you're in an online forum dedicated to a hobby, and someone starts harassing you with personal insults because you disagree on a technical point, resorting to ad hominem attacks rather than engaging in reasoned debate. You can use this phrase to disengage and block them, refusing to give them the attention they crave, and removing yourself from a toxic environment, protecting your mental health and preserving your peace of mind. Another example, a persistent salesperson using high-pressure tactics, employing manipulative techniques to coerce you into making a purchase you are not comfortable with. When you deliver this line, think about conveying confidence and self-respect through both your words and your nonverbal communication, ensuring that your message is clear and unambiguous. Maintain eye contact, but avoid glaring or appearing confrontational, which can escalate the situation and undermine your intended effect. Stand tall and keep your shoulders back, projecting an aura of self-assuredness and conveying that you are in control of the situation, refusing to be intimidated by their negativity. A clear, even tone is key. Avoid raising your voice, which can signal defensiveness or anger, undermining your message of calm assertiveness. A subtle nod of your head can also reinforce your message, adding a touch of finality to your statement and signaling that you have no intention of engaging further. It can also help to take a breath before responding, allowing a pause to suggest you have thought about the statement and are choosing your words deliberately, demonstrating a considered and intentional response rather than an impulsive reaction. Furthermore, prepare for pushback, anticipating their attempts to undermine your position and maintain control. The rude person may try to gaslight you, twisting the narrative to make you doubt your own perception or sanity, questioning your judgment, and attempting to invalidate your experiences. They may accuse you of being overly sensitive, attempting to invalidate your feelings and make you feel ashamed for setting boundaries, reinforcing their dominance and discouraging future assertions of self-respect. Or they may even try to turn others against you, seeking to isolate you and undermine your support system, creating a hostile environment and reinforcing their position of power. Don't engage in their attempts to derail you, recognizing these tactics as manipulative attempts to regain control and maintain their dominance. Simply repeat your boundary if necessary, using the same calm and assertive tone, refusing to be drawn into their manipulative games. Then disengage from the conversation, refusing to reward their negativity with your attention and preserving your own peace of mind. Remember, your peace is more important than winning an argument or proving a point to someone who is determined to misunderstand you or invalidate your experiences, prioritizing your own well-being over the need for external validation. If they push you for a reason, avoid offering lengthy justifications or engaging in emotional debates. Provide a generic one like, "I am focusing on positive communication," or simply state, "I've made my position clear," signaling that you have no intention of debating the issue further and reaffirming your commitment to self-respect. To B, "I'm not offended, I just don't value your opinion enough." 10. This comeback is a masterclass in emotional detachment, a core tenet of Stoic philosophy that empowers you to maintain inner peace in the face of external negativity and to resist the attempts of others to control your emotional state. It acknowledges the other person's attempt to insult you, but immediately strips their words of any power, rendering them harmless and inconsequential. It's a direct application of the Stoic principle of focusing on what you can control, your own thoughts and reactions, not the opinions of others or their attempts to provoke you. Epictetus taught us that it's not what happens to us, but how we react to it that matters. This comeback puts that principle into action, taking ownership of your emotional response and refusing to be a victim of their negativity, asserting your autonomy and resilience. To expand on this, consider the psychological impact of this phrase on a deeper level, understanding the mechanisms by which it disarms and deflates the aggressor. It's incredibly disarming because it subverts the other person's expectations, disrupting their anticipated outcome and denying them the satisfaction of provoking a reaction. They're expecting a reaction, a display of hurt, anger, or defensiveness, which would validate their attempt to provoke you and give them a sense of power, reinforcing their dominance and control. By calmly dismissing the importance of their opinion, you deny them that satisfaction, effectively disarming their attempt to provoke you and reclaiming control of the interaction. It's like refusing to play their game, refusing to engage on their terms and denying them the reward they seek, undermining their attempts to manipulate you. Let's explore more scenarios, examining the nuances of different situations and illustrating the versatility of this comeback. Imagine you're presenting a project at work, and a colleague offers harsh criticism that feels more personal than constructive, perhaps laced with sarcasm, condescension, or passive-aggressive jabs, designed to undermine your confidence and sabotage your presentation. Instead of getting defensive, which can make you appear insecure and undermine your credibility, you could say, "I'm not offended, I just don't value your opinion enough." Honey, this subtly communicates that you are confident in your work and that their criticism is not a reflection of your abilities, asserting your competence and refusing to be intimidated. Or perhaps you're receiving unsolicited advice from someone who clearly doesn't understand your situation. Perhaps a family member offering guidance on your career path despite having no experience in your field or understanding of your ambitions, attempting to impose their own values and beliefs on your choices. You can use this phrase to politely dismiss their input and maintain your own course, protecting yourself from unwanted interference and preserving your autonomy, asserting your right to make your own decisions and pursue your own path. Consider also a stranger offering unwanted opinions on your parenting style, a particularly sensitive area that often invites unsolicited criticism and can trigger feelings of guilt or inadequacy. Delivering this requires a delicate balance, assertive without being aggressive, confident without being arrogant, and dismissive without being disrespectful. Aim for a subtle power dynamic shift, reclaiming control of the interaction and asserting your dominance without resorting to hostility. A slight air of amusement helps, as if you're genuinely surprised they thought their opinion mattered, conveying a sense of detached amusement rather than personal offense and subtly undermining their importance. A slight raise of the eyebrows and a small, almost pitying smile can work wonders, signaling that you are observing their behavior with a degree of detached amusement rather than being personally affected by it and conveying a sense of intellectual superiority. Avoid sarcasm, which can come across as defensive and can escalate the situation, making you appear insecure and undermining your message of emotional detachment. Instead, aim for a tone of detached amusement, as if you're observing their behavior with mild curiosity and a touch of pity, conveying a sense of indifference rather than animosity. Also consider the context carefully, recognizing that this comeback may not be appropriate in all situations and that its effectiveness depends on the specific dynamics of the interaction. Using it with your boss, for instance, might not be the best career move, potentially damaging your professional relationship and creating unwanted repercussions. Use it judiciously, and only when you're confident that it won't escalate the conflict unnecessarily or create unwanted professional repercussions, weighing the potential benefits against the potential risks and choosing your battles wisely. Choose your battles wisely, as the Stoics advise, focusing on preserving your peace of mind rather than winning every argument and prioritizing your own well-being over the need for external validation. If the person asks you why you don't value their opinion, avoid getting drawn into a lengthy justification or engaging in an emotional debate, which will only validate their attempt to provoke you and undermine your message of emotional detachment. You can offer a brief, neutral explanation such as, "Because I can see your judgments are coming from a place of negativity, and I choose to focus on positive and constructive feedback, which is more conducive to my growth and well-being, or I have different priorities and values, which inform my decisions, and I trust my own judgment in matters that are important to me," signaling that your choices are based on your own internal compass rather than their external judgments, and asserting your autonomy and self-reliance.
3.
That's a strange way to beg for attention. This comeback is a powerful tool for exposing the underlying insecurities that often drive rude behavior, cutting through the facade of arrogance and revealing the vulnerability beneath. It's a direct challenge to the other person's motives, forcing them to confront the fact that their actions may be driven by a deep-seated need for validation, a yearning for recognition that may stem from childhood experiences or a lack of self-worth. It cuts through the surface and gets to the heart of the matter. Their insecurity, bringing their hidden motivations into the light and forcing them to acknowledge their own vulnerabilities. Think about the psychology behind attention-seeking behavior, exploring its roots and its manifestations, and understanding the underlying causes of this common human trait. Often it stems from a deep-seated need to feel seen, heard, and valued, a craving for recognition that may stem from unresolved childhood traumas, a lack of positive reinforcement, or a general sense of inadequacy. By calling out this behavior directly, you're forcing the other person to confront their own vulnerabilities, potentially triggering a moment of self-reflection and prompting them to examine the underlying causes of their actions, which may lead to greater self-awareness and ultimately personal growth. It's like holding up a mirror to their actions, forcing them to confront the reflection of their own insecurity and prompting them to examine their motives more closely. Here are some additional situations where this comeback might be useful, offering a wider range of applications and demonstrating its versatility in different social contexts. Imagine you're at a networking event and someone is constantly interrupting others to talk about themselves, dominating the conversation and preventing others from sharing their ideas or making valuable connections. You could say, "That's a strange way to beg for attention," subtly pointing out their self-centered behavior and potentially prompting them to reconsider their approach, encouraging them to be more mindful of others and to engage in more reciprocal interactions. Or perhaps you're in a social media group dedicated to a shared interest, and someone is posting inflammatory comments solely to provoke a reaction and generate engagement, disrupting the community's harmony and creating unnecessary conflict. You can use this phrase to expose their motives and discourage their behavior, potentially prompting them to reconsider their tactics and contribute more positively to the group, fostering a more constructive and supportive online environment. Consider also a coworker who consistently exaggerates their accomplishments to gain favor with the boss, attempting to undermine their colleagues and elevate their own status, creating a competitive and potentially toxic work environment. When you deliver this, a neutral tone is key, conveying a sense of detached observation rather than personal judgment, ensuring that your message is received as constructive criticism rather than a personal attack. Don't be accusatory or condescending, which can escalate the situation and make you appear judgmental, undermining the effectiveness of your message and potentially damaging your relationship with the other person. Just state it as an observation, as if you're simply pointing out a curious fact, without assigning blame or judgment, allowing them to draw their own conclusions and encouraging self-reflection. The goal isn't to shame them publicly, but to make them aware of their own behavior and its underlying motivations, prompting them to examine their actions and consider the impact they have on others. A slight head tilt and a curious expression can amplify the effect, conveying a sense of detached observation rather than personal judgment and signaling that you are approaching the situation with genuine curiosity rather than animosity. Furthermore, be prepared for them to deny their attention-seeking behavior, resisting your attempt to expose their vulnerabilities. They may try to justify their actions, claiming they were simply being helpful or informative, or even accuse you of being judgmental and overly sensitive, attempting to shift the blame and invalidate your perspective. Don't get drawn into an argument, which will only validate their attention-seeking efforts and prolong the interaction unnecessarily. Simply repeat your observation, if necessary, and disengage from the conversation, refusing to reward their negativity with your attention and preserving your own peace of mind. You may say something like, "I understand that you think you are being helpful, but to me, it looks like you are looking for attention," calmly reiterating your perspective without engaging in a debate and reaffirming your commitment to setting boundaries.
Pata.
Every time you speak, it's a reminder to value silence. This comeback is an elegant expression of the Stoic value of silence, a principle deeply rooted in their philosophy and essential for cultivating inner peace and wisdom. It subtly critiques the other person's words while simultaneously affirming the importance of thoughtful reflection and inner peace, advocating for a more mindful and deliberate approach to communication. It's a sophisticated way of saying, your words are adding nothing of value to this conversation. In fact, they are detracting from it, highlighting the power of restraint and the wisdom of choosing one's words carefully. It suggests that their speech is contributing to noise rather than clarity. Let's delve deeper into the Stoic philosophy of silence, exploring its significance and its benefits for personal well-being. Stoics believed that silence was essential for cultivating inner peace and clarity, allowing them to access their inner wisdom and navigate the world with greater calm and reason. They recognized that words can be a source of distraction, confusion, and even harm, leading to impulsive actions and regrettable consequences. By valuing silence, we can better listen to our own thoughts and emotions, discern what is truly important, and make more informed decisions, guided by reason rather than impulse. It is a reminder that not every thought needs to be spoken. Consider these additional scenarios where this comeback could be used, illustrating its versatility in different social situations and demonstrating its potential for diffusing tension and promoting more thoughtful communication. Imagine you're in a meeting and someone is constantly rambling on without making a clear point, dominating the discussion and preventing others from contributing their insights. You could say, every time you speak, it's a reminder to value silence, subtly suggesting that they should consider the impact of their words and make space for others, encouraging them to be more concise and respectful of the time and attention of their colleagues. Or perhaps you're in a heated debate with someone who is resorting to personal attacks and insults, abandoning reason and resorting to emotional tactics, escalating the conflict unnecessarily. You can use this phrase to disengage from the conversation and preserve your own integrity, refusing to participate in their unproductive behavior and signaling your commitment to reasoned discourse rather than emotional outbursts. Think also about a gossiping coworker who is constantly spreading rumors and negativity, creating a toxic work environment and undermining team morale. Conveying this requires a sense of quiet contemplation, projecting an aura of inner peace and reflection, and signaling your commitment to thoughtful consideration. Lower your gaze slightly, as if reflecting on the profound wisdom of silence, drawing attention to the value of thoughtful consideration and encouraging others to do the same. Speak slowly and deliberately, emphasizing the word silence to underscore its significance and highlight its importance in cultivating inner peace and wisdom. The quieter and more thoughtful you are, the more impactful this comeback will be, highlighting the contrast between your measured words and their excessive noise, and emphasizing the power of restraint and deliberate communication. Also, be mindful of the context, recognizing that this comeback may come across as arrogant or condescending if delivered inappropriately, potentially damaging your relationship with the other person and undermining your intended effect. Use it judiciously, and only when you're confident that it will be received as a genuine reflection on the value of silence, not as a personal attack or an attempt to assert superiority, signaling your genuine intention to promote more thoughtful communication. You should not say this statement if you haven't thought about it and truly believe in the power of silence, ensuring that your words are aligned with your genuine beliefs and intentions. Otherwise, it may come across as insincere and hypocritical, undermining your credibility and damaging your message. If they push you on this, they may ask, "Are you saying I should just be quiet?" Or, "What's wrong with what I'm saying?" Instead of getting defensive, calmly explain that you value thoughtful contributions and find that sometimes silence allows for better listening and understanding. Emphasize that you are not trying to silence them permanently, but rather encouraging a more mindful approach to communication.
Fine.
If you're trying to hurt my feelings, you'll have to try harder. Hannah, this comeback is a powerful affirmation of your own emotional resilience, a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, and a key to navigating the challenges of life with grace and equanimity. It acknowledges the other person's intent to harm you, but immediately neutralizes their efforts, rendering them ineffective and powerless to impact your emotional state. It's a direct declaration that you are in control of your own emotions, refusing to be a victim of their negativity and asserting your autonomy over your own feelings. It projects an image of strength and self-assuredness, signaling that you are not easily swayed by the opinions or actions of others. Think about the psychological impact of this phrase, understanding how it disrupts the aggressor's attempts to undermine your self-worth. It conveys a sense of unshakable self-confidence, signaling that you are not easily swayed by the opinions or actions of others, and that their attempts to manipulate you are futile and ultimately meaningless. It suggests that you possess a strong sense of self-acceptance and self-worth, making you immune to their attempts to undermine your confidence and assert your independence from their judgment. It's a powerful message of self-reliance and inner fortitude, demonstrating that you are the master of your own emotions and refusing to be controlled by external forces. Here are some additional scenarios where you might use this comeback, illustrating its versatility and its potential for empowering you in different situations. Imagine someone is making fun of your appearance, your hobbies, or your personal beliefs, attempting to belittle you and make you feel ashamed for who you are. You can say, "If you're trying to hurt my feelings, you'll have to try harder," demonstrating that their words have no power over you and that you are confident in your own identity and values. Or perhaps someone is spreading rumors about you, trying to undermine your reputation and damage your relationships, attempting to isolate you and erode your social standing. You can use this phrase to show that you are not intimidated by their attempts to harm you and that you are confident in your own character, refusing to be defined by their malicious gossip. Consider also someone constantly criticizing your work, attempting to undermine your confidence and sabotage your career. A confident, almost amused tone really sells this, conveying a sense of detachment and inner strength and signaling that you are above their petty attempts to provoke you. Smile slightly, as if you find their attempt to hurt you rather pathetic, highlighting the futility of their efforts and asserting your dominance over the interaction. Maintain eye contact, projecting sincerity and self-assurance, and hold your ground, refusing to back down or appear intimidated and demonstrating your unwavering commitment to self-respect. Your body language should convey strength and self-assurance, reinforcing the message that you are not easily swayed and that you are in control of your own emotions. Furthermore, be prepared for them to escalate their attacks, resorting to more personal and hurtful insults in an attempt to break through your defenses and elicit a reaction. Don't give them the satisfaction of seeing you upset or distressed, which will only encourage their behavior and reinforce their sense of power. Simply repeat your affirmation, if necessary, calmly and confidently reiterating your resilience and refusing to be drawn into their manipulative games. Then disengage from the conversation, refusing to reward their negativity with your attention and preserving your own peace of mind. 61. You're not on the level to get a reaction from me. This comeback is a bold statement of self-worth and a refusal to engage with those who are not worthy of your attention or your emotional energy, asserting your right to choose who you interact with and protecting your time and peace of mind. It embodies the Stoic principle of focusing your energy on things that truly matter, prioritizing your inner peace, and refusing to be drawn into trivial conflicts that serve no purpose. It sets a clear boundary, protecting your time and energy from those who seek to provoke you, waste your time, or undermine your well-being. It is a clear declaration that you value yourself too highly to engage in unproductive interactions. Let's delve deeper into the Stoic concept of choosing your battles, understanding the importance of prioritizing your energy and avoiding unnecessary conflicts. Stoics believe that we should not waste our time or emotional energy on trivial matters or on individuals who are not deserving of our attention, recognizing that these resources are precious and should be invested wisely in activities that promote our well-being and contribute to a meaningful life. This comeback is a direct expression of that principle, signaling that you have higher priorities than engaging with their negativity and that you are unwilling to squander your valuable time and energy on unproductive interactions. Consider these additional scenarios where this comeback could be effective, illustrating its versatility and its potential for protecting your peace of mind. Imagine someone is trying to provoke you into an argument over a minor issue, perhaps a disagreement about a trivial detail or a difference of opinion on a subjective matter that has no real consequence. You could say, "You're not on the level to get a reaction from me," signaling that you refuse to be drawn into their petty conflict and that you have more important things to focus on. Or perhaps someone is constantly complaining, gossiping about others, or engaging in other forms of negativity, attempting to drag you down with them and create a toxic environment. You can use this phrase to disengage from their negativity and protect your own peace of mind, refusing to be a participant in their toxic behavior and asserting your commitment to maintaining a positive and uplifting environment. Think about someone trying to bait you on social media with inflammatory comments or personal attacks, attempting to provoke you into an online argument. To convey this, a dismissive tone works best, conveying a sense of indifference and detachment. Avoid eye contact, which can signal engagement and encourage them to continue their attempts to provoke you, and turn your body slightly away from the person, creating a physical barrier and signaling your disinterest. Let your body language signal disinterest and detachment, conveying that you are not invested in their attempt to provoke you and that you have no desire to engage with their negativity. The less attention you give them, the more powerful the statement will be, demonstrating that their efforts are inconsequential and that you are not affected by their attempts to provoke you. However, be cautious with this comeback, recognizing that it can come across as arrogant or condescending if used indiscriminately, potentially damaging relationships and creating unnecessary conflict. Use it only when you're confident that the other person is genuinely trying to provoke you, waste your time, or undermine your peace of mind. And when you are willing to accept the potential consequences of your words, understanding that it may strain your relationship with the other person. Narcissists, Durham, 7. That was a lot of effort just to sound insecure. This comeback cleverly exposes the underlying insecurity that often fuels boastful or arrogant behavior, revealing the vulnerability beneath the surface and challenging the other person to confront their own self-doubt. It's a subtle yet powerful way of reminding the other person that their attempts to impress others are often driven by a lack of self-confidence rather than genuine accomplishment or self-worth, prompting them to examine the root causes of their behavior. It cuts through the facade and reveals the truth, exposing the hollowness behind their attempts to project an image of superiority. Think about the psychology behind boasting, understanding the motivations and insecurities that drive this behavior. Often it's a way for people to compensate for their own insecurities, seeking validation and external approval to mask their feelings of inadequacy and to boost their own self-esteem. By constantly highlighting their accomplishments, their possessions, or their connections, they're trying to convince themselves and others that they are worthy of attention and respect, seeking to fill a void within themselves with external validation. This comeback cuts through that facade and exposes the underlying vulnerability, revealing the emptiness behind their boasting and challenging them to confront their own self-doubt. Consider these additional scenarios. Someone is bragging about their wealth in a way that feels ostentatious, flaunting their possessions and attempting to impress others with their material success, as if their worth is defined by their material possessions. You could say, that was a lot of effort just to sound insecure, subtly pointing out the emptiness of their display and challenging them to find validation from within rather than from external sources. Someone is constantly name-dropping, trying to associate themselves with important people, or exaggerating their own achievements in an attempt to elevate their status, seeking to gain social capital and boost their own self-importance. You can expose the effort to make themselves more important than others, revealing the insecurity driving their behavior and prompting them to question the source of their self-worth. Think also about someone constantly one-upping you in conversations, always trying to have a better story or a more impressive experience, as if they need to constantly validate their own experiences by comparing them to yours. When you deliver this line, aim for a calm and empathetic tone, conveying a sense of understanding rather than judgment and signaling that you are approaching the situation with compassion. Avoid being accusatory or judgmental, which can escalate the situation and make you appear hostile, undermining your intended effect. State it as an observation, as if you're genuinely concerned about their well-being and recognizing the effort they are expending to mask their insecurity, offering a subtle opportunity for self-reflection. A slight frown and a gentle voice can amplify the effect, conveying a sense of compassion rather than condemnation, and signaling that you are approaching the situation with kindness and understanding. Also, be mindful of the potential for backlash, recognizing that the person may become defensive or even lash out at you in an attempt to regain control and protect their own ego. Don't engage in an argument, which will only validate their efforts to provoke you and prolong the interaction unnecessarily. Simply repeat your observation, if necessary, and disengage from the conversation, refusing to participate in their attempts to manipulate you and preserving your own peace of mind. Your words reveal more about you than they ever will about me. This comeback is a powerful statement of self-awareness and emotional maturity, rooted in the Stoic understanding of the interconnectedness between our inner thoughts and our outward expressions, and asserting your independence from the judgment of others. It highlights the Stoic principle that our words are a reflection of our inner thoughts and beliefs, revealing our values, our insecurities, and our overall state of mind, and emphasizing the importance of taking responsibility for our own words and actions. It acknowledges that the other person's criticism is ultimately a reflection of their own perspective, their own experiences, and their own internal struggles, not a valid assessment of your worth, and it refuses to allow their negativity to define you. Let's delve deeper into the Stoic concept of self-reflection, understanding its importance in cultivating inner peace and living a virtuous life. Stoics believe that we should constantly examine our own thoughts and actions, striving to live in accordance with our values and to cultivate inner virtue, and recognizing that our words are a powerful indicator of our inner state, revealing our progress on the path to self-improvement. This comeback embodies that principle by reminding us that our words are a powerful indicator of our inner state, offering valuable insights into our own character and motivations, and encouraging us to be mindful of the impact our words have on others. It encourages us to be mindful of the impact our words have on others and to strive for honesty, integrity, and compassion in our communication, recognizing that our words have the power to build up or tear down. To convey this effectively, aim for a sense of detachment and inner peace, signaling that you are not personally invested in their criticism and that you are approaching the situation with equanimity. Avoid defensiveness or anger, which will only validate their attempts to provoke you and undermine your message of emotional maturity. Speak with a calm, measured tone, as if you are observing their behavior with a certain level of understanding, recognizing that their words are a reflection of their own internal state and approaching the situation with compassion. Maintain eye contact to convey sincerity, but avoid staring, which can be perceived as aggressive, and maintain a neutral and non-threatening demeanor. If they ask for more elaboration, avoid getting drawn into a debate about your own worth or character, which will only validate their attempt to provoke you and undermine your message of self-reliance. You can offer a brief neutral explanation, such as, "You can see that they are trying to lower your self-esteem, and that is a reflection of their insecurity," subtly highlighting their own vulnerabilities and shifting the focus back onto their own internal state. The goal is not to defend yourself, but to maintain your composure and protect your peace of mind, refusing to be defined by their limited perspective and asserting your independence from their judgment. The focus here is self-awareness, not self-justification. So there you have it, 8 Stoic-inspired tools to help you navigate the inevitable encounters with rudeness in life. The key takeaway here is that these comebacks aren't magic bullets. Their effectiveness comes from the inner work, the conscious decision to cultivate a Stoic mindset, a mindset of resilience, self-awareness, and unwavering commitment to your own peace. The Stoics understood that true strength lies not in dominating others, but in mastering yourself. It's about building an inner citadel, a fortress of calm and reason that protects you from the storms of external negativity. Remember, you have the power to choose how you respond to the world. Embrace the wisdom of the Stoics, focus on what you can control, and live a life of purpose, meaning, and unshakable inner peace. Now go out there and create a better day for yourself and for those around you by choosing to respond with wisdom and calm.